witches. It's me, Micah. I am a 5-year practicing Wiccan, and this is my husband.
I'm Terry. I'm an atheist.
And this is... What was the tentative title right now?
Don't make me say it.
You're the one who came up with it.
I know, just don't make me say it again. Look, I'm already regretting giving you this idea.
That's so pagan.
Ah, god damn it. It sounds even worse now that we're
A pagan
recording.
history podcast/video series that we will be posting here as an educational experience. Because something I love doing is educating. Isn't that right, Terry?
Do you know how many lessons I get on a daily basis? You're about to learn.
Oh, he hates it. Oh, you love it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have married me.
I mean, I love you.
Wow. Some hard truths coming through. So Terry, tell me what you asked me that we wanted to do as our first subject.
All right, so you presented this whole idea of a talk show, and I knew exactly what question I wanted to ask because it's been plaguing me since I was a little baby, and I've been so lazy that I've not Googled it. Which is,
you and like a billion other people.
I'm just saying that is like a testament to how lazy I am because it is easy to Google. I can just be click, 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 answer, done.
I don't actually. Please
But-
ask the question because
so-
it's not that simple.
Okay, well, my question is, what is the difference between the Greek and Roman pantheons?
And the answer is actually it's simple and complicated. There's nothing. There's no difference.
I don't understand. Please explain.
So before we get into like the pantheons themselves and the gods and goddesses themselves, I think it's important for us to take a step back and talk about the cultural aspects and the history of the peoples that originate the pantheons. So, what are you doing?
I realize my phone is not on silent.
Oh my god, that's so unprofessional.
I know, it's like step one. It's step one.
How long have we been podcasting, Terry?
For so long, and my step
2
one.
years!
My step one is literally pull out phone, put on silent, throw away.
All right. Well, to start, let's start with the Greeks. The Greeks actually predate the Romans.
That's not
Quite
true.
a
That's
bit.
a lie. You are lying to me.
Yes. So the Greeks were coming out of the Dark Age, the Greek Dark Ages, after they lost a lot of their written culture. This was in about 1200 BCE, which is before the Common Era. They changed that to before Christ, from before Christ. Did you know that?
Okay, here's the thing that I need
Go
you
for
to
it.
do. Say all that again, but then say it like you're talking to someone who has no concept of time.
Oh God.
So like use phrases like long, not so long, very long, and I might kind of get a picture here. Like what was happening during this time period? What else was going on in the world?
So this would roughly be around the same time as it predates. This is predating Cleopatra by about 500 years.
Okay, that actually kind of sets a frame of reference for me.
So it's
okay.
it's ancient Egypt kind of coexists with ancient Greek.
Okay, yeah, I got
Which,
it.
I mean, is pretty obvious. Greek culture actually expanded across the Mediterranean and into Egypt. Egypt is one of the locations that is actually denoted as Grecian.
Oh, yeah. You actually learned that in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Was that Odyssey or was that the other one?
I think it's Odyssey. Odyssey was about the Spartans and...
Oh, no. It was the other one. It was the Egypt
I don't
one.
know.
It was the Egypt one because then that one... Yeah.
How common is it going to be that your frame of reference for things I talk about is going to be video games?
Well, an Assassin's Creed is a history lesson in a game. So...
Oh, my God. So the Greek people were coming out of a dark age.
Okay.
So they're basically rebuilding their culture from the ground up.
Because nothing was left.
And they were in sets of tribes at this time. We don't have like ancient Greece as we know it, like the great civilization.
Okay.
There are a bunch of different tribes with a bunch of different gods, and they all believe in different things.
Okay.
So these tribes, this is what's called the Archaic period. Then all of these tribes come together to form civilization of the ancient Greeks as we know it, white marble statues and science and math.
I do like science, and I do like me some math. You know what I don't like? History. I've never been good with history.
This was a terrible idea, though.
Well, it's not a terrible idea, and here's why. I like you. I don't like the people that were teaching me history. It's so hard. Like, they don't
I mean,
understand my
okay,
concept of, like,
Real talk for everybody, you included. We were just discussing this. How far back did your history class go? Because I don't remember studying anything ancient. I remember going back to probably about the Industrial Revolution, maybe a little bit before, and that's as far back as we went.
I think if I'm remembering correctly, and I could be horribly misremembering
I mean,
here.
we haven't been in high school for 10 years
Micah,
or more.
shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. I don't remember. Okay, I was saying, I think we only had one chapter, maybe. Mm-hmm. And that one chapter covered all of ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, ancient everything. Like, it was...
You cannot cover that.
I'm not saying that that's 100% what happened, but I'm pretty sure...
I believe it, though.
That's what happened, because it's kind of like, we're going to cover
all of
like, this.
They put so much stress on American history. Anyway, this is a tangent.
Let's put that over there.
Put that way over there.
Over
the
there.
American education system can go way back there.
We'll deal with that later.
We'll deal with it later.
We'll just take that one down later.
So ancient civilization comes together, and this is what we call the classical period of Greece. It's when they do the most development, but they come together and they're like, hey, these are our gods. Oh, these are our gods. And they kind of put them all together and they make the Olympian 12. So
that sounds like the most badass superhero team ever created. I'm writing this
series.
down. Hang on.
Isn't that Percy Jackson?
I don't know. I've never read it.
Okay. That's probably not a bad thing. So let's just go through the gods. Ready? We got Zeus.
I don't know him. Who's that?
We got his wife Hera.
Wait, that's... Never mind. Continue. We'll come back to that one.
Poseidon.
All right. I know that one.
Who's a brother of Zeus.
Yeah, I know that one.
Demeter. Athena, my girl. I love her. Apollo. Artemis. Ares. Hephaestus. Aphrodite. Hermes. And then Hestia or Demeter, they're kind of interchangeable because...
You already said Demeter.
Oh, not Demeter, Dionysus. Hestia and Dionysus are kind of interchangeable. Hestia is a little less prominent in the... Okay,
all right.
So what?
So my first hang-up.
Yes.
Who was Zeus's wife?
Hera.
In Hercules.
Hera.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay, so never mind then. Because
except it framed their relationship and their marriage as a happy thing. And we all know by Greek mythology that's not true.
I'm afraid to make the joke I made.
Oh, no.
I shouldn't make that joke, should I? The joke I made about the Greek and Roman gods, like, basically if they weren't raping, they weren't doing their job.
Oh, God, Terry.
What? right. PG-13.
Now I have to edit. Boo!
Let's just cut that out.
Mark! All right. So they get together, all these gods and goddesses. Mm-hmm. And these become very ingrained in the culture. The big reason that they become so ingrained in Grecian culture is because the Greeks believed in no separation of science and religion. Everything was intermingled.
Okay, that was either really bad or kind of great, and I don't know which. It
was kind of great because out of it we got the math, which is considered the divine science.
That checks out.
And we also got holy geometry. Both of those come out of the Grecian idea that science is to help explain religion and the higher powers to us. Science is holy.
I'm kind of cool with that.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than how, nowadays religions will twist science to fit their beliefs. It's very much the reverse in what Greek science was.
Mm-hmm. There's a phrase used for that. It's like making the facts fit the theory and not the theory to fit the facts.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely that idea. So after the classical period, Alex decided to go to war. You know which Alex, right?
Could it be the great one?
Yeah. No, Alex decided to go to war a bunch. They'd been at war. They'd been at war.
Hey, guys. What? Alex, I swear to God, if you're telling us we're going to go to war again, I'm going to throw up.
It's time.
So I should just not be sharpening my spear. Who'd you start a fight with now, Alex?
Yeah, no joke.
Everyone.
I mean, they had been at war off and on. The classical period is when we had the Spartan War, the Spartan Rebellion.
Right, sure. I saw that movie.
Yeah. You like that movie.
I really do like that movie.
But then when Alex decided to basically go to a long war, we transitioned into what's called the Hellenic period. Not Hellenic, Hellenistic. And this is when Rome decides to ruin everything. So let's talk about the Romans.
Yes. I want to know how they ruined everything. Because Alex sounds like he's doing a pretty bang-up job by on himself. By himself? I can't talk.
Greece had been having conflict with Rome for quite some time. Rome is, trying to conquer. That's what Rome did. They were expanding their enterprise, their land. It was a huge thing. It's kind of like their whole...
Get bigger.
Yeah.
What do we call that nowadays?
Imperialism.
Yeah, imperialism. That's a good term.
Yes. But finally the Roman Republic decides to annex them, which means illegally take the land from them. However, they allow them to keep their religious beliefs.
Okay. Not
only that, they appropriate the heck out of them.
It's just, sorry. Just so you know, Micah, I'm envisioning deities as like a trading card game right now.
Oh my God!
It's like, yo, man,
I summon Hephaestus in defense mode.
I really like your blue eyes white Zeus. Can I borrow that?
Oh my God! Yeah, you're not wrong.
But I don't like the name. I think it needs to be
Oh God, no, but seriously, the Romans appropriate the living crap out of the Greek gods because they're like, oh, these are cool. We'll just take those. Okay, thanks.
But I wanted that one. I'll trade you.
So
they
renamed everything.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go through these.
Okay.
The Romans renamed Zeus to Jupiter. Hera became Juno. Poseidon became Neptune. Are you sensing a theme?
I'm sensing a spatial theme here.
Yes. So Demeter became... I'm going to mispronounce this.
You already cursed.
Ceres.
You're going to have to back up.
No, I didn't. I said f. I said nothing else. I caught myself.
Uh-huh. You keep telling yourself that.
Athena becomes Minerva. Apollo, he gets to stay. He's cool. Artemis becomes Diana. Ares becomes Mars. Hephaestus becomes Vulcan, which was a planet at one point.
And is also a very cool name.
Yep. It's also a race.
Did you just... Oh, right. Trekkies.
Live long and prosper, man.
Yeah.
Aphrodite becomes Venus. Hermes becomes Mercury. Hestia becomes Vesta. And then they said, screw you, Dionysus. We don't care. You aren't important. They got rid of Dionysus. They didn't care.
They didn't care?
Well, it might have been because the Roman emperor, you might know him.
No.
Caesar.
I thought there was like 100 Caesars. Not 100, like 10. But didn't they just name whoever was the
Julius.
emperor?
Yes. No, you're correct.
Okay, so
Caesar was the position.
Okay, so the position was Caesar.
It's the famous Caesar, though.
Gotcha. So Julius Caesar, is he the good guy or the bad guy?
It depends on your perspective. Welcome to history.
But
anyway, it could have been because he had a big problem with his militaries drinking too much. Dionysus is the god of the vine. A.k.a. wine, and drinking and festivities, which he highly frowned upon. So that might be why Dionysus was neglected from the Roman Pantheon version of the Olympic 12.
Meanwhile, current day, we're looking for any excuse at all ever to drink.
Yeah, so that's all well and good. And then everything crashes again because, again, Rome decides to ruin everything, but not just Rome. Terry, who do you think ruined it?
Oh, this one's easy. It's like the same. It's like, you've got 3 choices: A, B, C, or D, and it's C. Christianity.
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 Yes, that is correct.
Everything.
The Romans decided to adopt the new Caesar decided to adopt Christianity.
What a fool
and
he was.
Forced, he forced everyone who lived in the Roman Empire to convert to Christianity.
I mean, that's a common theme with like religious. I don't want to say takeover. Takeover is the wrong word. Conversion is you usually like go for the leader first. If you can convert the leader, then the people follow.
People followed. There was a lot of prosecution. There was a huge wipeout of Grecian text. It's amazing anything survived.
Is this the what is it? Oh, my brain. Library
of Alexandria.
Of Alexandria. Is that this period?
This is that
this
period.
Is when that happened. Mm-hmm. That makes me really sad. I love books. You know what I don't like? Ruining books.
I mean, the burning of books has happened for centuries, and it's very, very sad.
Every time.
And it's eventually it's what puts us in another dark age. Every time that there is a major burning of scripture, of anything like that, we go into a dark age.
You're telling me that if we burn our knowledge, we get dumber? That's just, I'm astounded.
Fathomable.
I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, God. Yeah. But this is a common theme. We'll see throughout this whole series, probably. Christianity sweeps in, and there's a word for it. It's not assimilates.
Crusade.
It assimilates.
There it is. Yep.
The existing, usually pagan, and usually polytheistic, because we all know the Christian religion. You know, one God. That is the first thing they go for. If you also have one God, they're a little more forgiving, but they always target the polytheistic religions first. It's as far as history goes.
Mm-hmm.
So the only reason that we really have a survival of all of the Greek gods is because of Homer.
My boy.
Yeah, what's one of your favorite books, Tara, please?
This is a fun story. It's the Odyssey. I read it when I was 10 because I was bored one day and my stepmother had a copy of the Odyssey and the Iliad. They were pretty copies that were just meant for decoration because she's into that kind of home decor.
Oh, and she was so mad.
So mad. I stole that book so hard. But I replaced it with another book, and she didn't notice for like 5 whole minutes. Keep that in mind. But I read that book cover to cover. I didn't understand half the words I was reading. I was 10, but like it was. What I could understand from it was like one of like the first adventure novel things that like just grabbed me and just yanked me along for a ride. It was real fun.
Like despite the fact that you personally are atheist, you are fascinated by mythology, right?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I love it all. I feel
like that's a common thing like across most people. Like, I wonder. Okay, weird theory. I've always kind of had this theory that because paganism and polytheism and old mythology is so ingrained in us that it might be a little bit like a genetic memory, that it's like, oh, that's familiar. Because I don't know very many people that aren't intrigued by mythology, like even in passing.
Yeah, I mean, and it depends, and they have a perspective on it. Like there's some people like me who are like, I'm just fascinated by all of it. I just want to know because it's so cool. And like the idea that like these things were forgotten or kind of stomped on by one other thing. I'm always rooting for the underdog. That's me. And like the underdog has been literally every other religion besides Christianity in every situation ever. And so I'm just kind of...
We're not trying to dog on like modern Christians,
we're talking about past
please.
Christians. The ones
we're
that
talking about,
crusades.
Yeah.
And
we're talking about old-timey Christians, not
Christians.
new Christians. It's cool.
There is a clear difference between the two distinction that we need to make because I don't want to offend anybody.
I agree.
So it's the people that literally told people, hey, you cannot believe in the thing you're going to believe in, you want to believe in, because if you do, we're probably going to kill you.
Yeah.
And I don't see a lot of that in modern times.
No.
Kind of.
There's some extremists.
There are
extremists.
There's always
that's going to be always
There's
a
always
thing.
extremists, but I will never lump one bad character in with everybody else.
So do you want to know how people practice with these deities now?
Yes, I do, but I want you to hold that because
Yes.
I want to circle back to when they were renaming everything.
Yes.
So they had Zeus and I'm reading your list now.
Yeah, please.
They had these people, and it seemed like they were, I say people because gods in this time period were more
Let me make
people-like.
the distinction. The Greeks believed in them as people.
Okay.
The Romans believed in them as more godlike, beyond us concepts.
Okay.
Whereas in the Greek, that's why they screw up a lot in the Greek mythology.
Gotcha.
In the Greek mythology, they were more like people,
Okay.
elevated.
That makes sense. It's like like the whole hero's journey, kind of like how Hercules had to do the triumphs to become a god again, right? It's kind of like that.
I mean, Hercules was kind of a god.
Right,
He was
I
half
understand.
God,
He had a leg up, all right? I'm not saying he didn't. Plus, he had Philoctetes there to tutor him and shit. Oops. So I guess what I know.
And you were worried about me cursing.
I know. It's your damn curse monkey. There it is again.
Damn's fine.
Damn's fine. All right. Well, so what I wanted to talk about was
We're trying to keep this as PG-13 as possible, but
I curse like a sailor. She curses like a sailor.
I'm just trying not to drop the F-bomb every other word.
That's true. Okay, so the thing I'm trying to like hammer down here, trying to hammer my thoughts because
With this list?
Yeah, well, we don't rehearse any of this. Like this is me just spitballing. So it seems like we have these planets named after these gods, right?
Yes.
Was it a situation of, well, we need a physical thing, and what's more above us than these things that we can kind of track through this, and these are clearly the physical representations of these deities?
Well, at this point, the Greeks, during the ancient Grecian period...
I'm bleeding profusely.
What the heck? Please take that off camera, please. You're fine. I just don't want to get flagged.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, wow, this is raw, folks. I'm so sorry. Anyway, the ancient Greeks had already discovered planets. They'd already discovered astrology, and they had a telescope.
Right.
The telescope had been invented at this point. So yeah, we discovered the planets, and that would make sense to me that the Romans were like, oh, well, they're gods. They're above us. Therefore, it's probably the planets.
Yeah, I mean, because it seems like in this
Well,
time
because
period...
this is still when they also believed that the world, the Earth, was the center. We didn't revolve around the sun. Everything in the universe revolved around us.
It still does.
That...
Not a joke I should make.
It was funny, but I'm also like, there are people that believe that. It's fine.
Micah, don't say that. You're gonna get our comment thing is gonna be filled with people like just raging against us.
Don't make me go down the flat earther.
Micah,
again.
I have just gotten out of that hole. Please do not put me back down that hole.
Okay. Anyway, so yes, it seems very likely that the Romans would be like, look, it's those things.
It's a
see that
physical
red?
thing.
See that red star? That's so and so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a physical thing. It seems like in this time period, it's harder for people to think abstractly. And I think I remember reading or seeing a video that kind of discussed how abstract concepts became more and more more and more commonplace as us as a people have like grown as a civilization. And I think that's just super neat that there's like, well, we need to worship something. That big thing that's that's orbiting
circles. Yeah. It seems very likely. The Romans, like I said, they just appropriated.
Sure. And I guess a little tack onto that. I'm sorry, I keep talking about this, but like it also adds credence to the literal like saying of so and so is looking down upon us, like may Mars witness this battle kind of thing, like that. It's just it does put a literal.
I mean, Aries is of war.
I thought Mars was. Am I wrong?
Aries is Mars.
Okay, so I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're correct.
So it's just like. That's what I'm talking about, though. Is like it's just that literal. We are underneath the god's eye, like they are watching us, and it's I don't know. I like that. I think it's interesting.
Oh no, I agree.
Anyway, so you want to talk about how it's being used today?
Yes.
I'm gonna let you talk about that now.
So
I'm off my soapbox.
Nowadays, people do multiple things. They either pick one version or the other, or they'll refer to the god by both their names interchangeably, which was not something that the Romans or Greeks would have done. But it's probably just to acknowledge the two different traditions. Mm-hmm. But it can get a little convoluted because most of the time, what each god represents, god or goddess represents, is mostly the same, but some of them changed. For the key example, Hestia. Hestia in the Greek tradition was all about hearth and home and motherhood. And then in the Roman tradition, when she became Vesta, she became like the Vestal Virgin. Those are very different concepts. Yeah. So it's hard to interchange some of the names.
Because the concept of them has changed so vastly between the two iterations. We'll call them iterations.
For an example of one that is very similar, Artemis and Diana are both goddesses of the hunt. Mm-hmm. Right, that hasn't really changed.
And I've heard them used interchangeably in that
I do them.
I've seen the imagery, though. I mean, the imagery itself is almost identical.
She hunts with a hound. She has a bow.
Yeah, the imagery is just so rock solid foundation wise that it's there.
It's never changed.
Right.
But these gods and goddesses, they're so broad, and it's probably they've survived so long compared to some pantheons, which are more obscure. I reference it. I would say that the Greek and Roman gods are more often
mentioned
than the Egyptian gods.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you're niche, the Egyptian gods come up in constant conversation, like me, who wanted to be an Egyptologist when I was a child. I know a lot more about Egyptology probably than you do. I know a lot more about the Egyptian gods than you do.
You know exactly everything more than me.
Because you're just a big, big dum-dum.
I'm just a big, big dum-dum. Huge dum-dum. I don't even know what words are. I couldn't point out Egypt on a map. Just kidding. I actually can. I'm really not.
That stupid?
I'm not dunce level. I'm just I'm ignorant level.
That's probably a better
I'm just not exposed to that information because I've always been just my extent of mythologies is what I've learned from reading books. So my knowledge of Norse mythology is primarily from reading any book that had any kind of mythological twist that involved the Norse deities, and the same with the Greek and Roman deities, and the same with Egyptian deities. My extent of knowledge is from fictional writing. So,
I feel like a lot of people's are. I feel like that's just a commonplace thing with mythology.
Yeah.
And that's why it's really important to make sure that if you're wanting to get involved with a particular pantheon, if you're a practicing pagan in any way, shape, or form, or polytheist, that you have to do your research and make sure you can separate the fiction from the fact. You have to... It's really difficult because in this age of the internet, you can find everything, but everything may not be accurate. Mm-hmm. And the amount of times I have seen things get crossed over with fiction or with Homer. Homer's still fiction. He may be from the period, but he still fictionalized the gods and goddesses.
He characterized them. Yeah.
We don't have...
I guess the term would be actually characterized them, right? Is that the...
Caricatured?
Yeah,
he caricatured them.
Yeah.
He completely removed Hestia. He didn't even acknowledge her, probably because he had some, personal beef with her.
Probably.
You have to keep in mind... The best sources for ancient religions is anthropologists. They're studying it. They are actively looking through and finding, we're finding new texts all the time. They recently found a new set of Dead Sea Scrolls.
Hey man, you know what's really cool?
Yeah.
Finding lost ass books.
It's incredible. They found them in a cave, and because they were in the Dead Sea, the salt helped preserve the text.
I remember seeing that news article.
Yeah.
That was a little bit ago.
Quite a bit ago, but we're still discovering things, and historians are always going through. They're finding new things. They're finding new mythologies, new tales about existing pantheons, and it is important that if you're going to research, try and find something peer-reviewed. That's probably my best, like, especially with cultural things like this.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. It makes sense. Go to the guys who
Anyone
literally...
can post anything online.
Yeah.
Yes, some of it will be accurate, but it's better to, like, find it from reputable sources.
People who have made it their entire life's
Their
work
job.
to study these things. Like, they're going to do the work appropriate amount of justice, you know? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and a lot of times they can find, like, what the ancient civilization used specific gods for, like what was that done at the temples and things like that. And then you can use that and, like, twist it for your own means.
Yeah, I mean, go with
like
what
we're
feels
modern,
right.
it's fine. You can change tradition, but you have to know tradition to change tradition.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's really much more to say unless you had any questions.
No.
All right.
No, I think it's cleared up because, like, there is no real difference except there is a
Yeah.
little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
And that's, like, I think that's the best answer I'm going to get. Like, the most clear and concise answer on this is, like, what is the difference between Roman and Greek pantheons? Well, a little and nothing. Well,
thank you so much for joining us for this first, I was going to call it Pagan History, but ever since Terry said it, I'm
I
sorry.
will not say it.
Please.
I will not say it.
I'll get you to say it eventually. That's so pagan. And we would love to hear if you have any topics or questions that you'd like us to discuss. We'd like them to stay history-based if possible. But you can feel free to shoot those to us in the comments, or you can email us. No, not email. Message me. You can message me. I'll read everything.
Yeah.
Don't do anything to him.
He
has a Twitter, but don't.
I have 17 followers.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm pretty popular.
Ooh, click clack.
I'm a very...
Look at all those followers.
I don't know. My last tweet was maybe months ago, honestly.
We don't social media.
I don't social media. You kind of do.
I kind of do now.
I've never gotten into it. It's not my thing.
Anyway, until next time, I'm Micah.
And I'm Terry.
And merry part. So, have a good day. I don't know how to sign out.
Oh, thanks for tuning in to That's So Pagan.
I got you to say it.
You didn't do anything.
I don't care. Bye. I need to stop the video recording.
Yeah, it's okay. We can clip it.